George.
Yes.
You're one of your favorite people, Ronda Rousey, okay? Who has brought you a lot of grief as of late. Not she has, but her fans are. She went out on the limb and basically said that she's going to pick Nick Diaz over GSP. And you know what? Go ahead.
She trains with them, so right. She kind of sort of has to say that. But yeah. Even the point she brought up that you're about to bring up, I agree with. I just don't agree with the mole.
You will never let that shit go, will you? You're going to keep riding that shit and have people on your ass about it. But seriously, getting back to it, you're funny as shit. Getting back to it, Rousey, it's funny. She, like you did say, she has trained with Nick and Nate, so obviously you would tend that she would lean towards them. But she did make some comments about GSP, and you know what? I agree with her, man. I mean, one of the comments she said was GSP is not the same fighter since he fought Matt Serra. And
no, but I mean, to me, that's not a stretch. It's the next comments that are coming up that I think are more poignant and make more of an impact because it's the truth.
It's the truth.
And it's about GSP being a pretty boy and how pretty guys get pushed to the top. Yeah. And I mean, you have to look no further than look at Uriah Faber.
Right.
Uriah Faber was on every commercial when he was winning. Yes. I mean, to me, Uriah Faber is one of the, if not the best looking dude in MMA.
Well, yeah, he's a good looking guy, but when Uriah Faber was losing, he was still on a bunch of commercials. You know what I mean?
Right, but that motherfucker, right? Last time I saw Uriah Faber, he was on a milk carton.
Yeah. But getting back to Ronda Rousey. Getting back, she went out, and I think a lot of people who are fans of GSP, now, I'm going to say it like this. This is how I feel about GSP. GSP is, I think, the best athlete in UFC, probably mixed martial arts, or was. And
no, I hope you guys understand that. He didn't say he's the best fighter. He didn't say he's the big, he said best athlete. In other words, you have to look at what the man has done athletically and can do athletically.
Right.
He has the best double leg shot in all of MMA, and he has no wrestling background.
Right.
He almost made Canada's Olympic wrestling team.
Right.
So I want you all to listen for once.
His ability to pick up on stuff and his work ethic is probably second to none. I mean, the guy trains. He trains to fight he trains for the person he is fighting. A lot of people train for a fight. GSP looks and says, okay, this is how methodically I'm going to pick this guy out, how I'm going to dissect him. This is what I need to do to beat this guy on points. Usually, at least that's the way he's carried it since the Matt Serra fight. I think he got rocked hard, and he says, okay, my chin's not what I thought it was, and now I got to fight smarter, which, he's going to do because he wants to stay at the top of the welterweight division, make himself more marketable, and make a lot of money. So a lot of people choose to go down that avenue. But when you choose to go down that avenue, people like myself, people like George, people like Ronda Rousey, and many other MMA fans out there are going to call you out on it because he fights very conservatively. Anybody who tells me different, I don't give a fuck what you say. GSP fights conservatively. People say, oh, I had a guy actually talking to us on our fan page saying, well, he did this, and he was naming fighters, and the fighters that he was naming that he did this. He's like, yeah, he took whatchamajig down. What was the big thick guy he fought with the big ass fucking welterweight that's really heavily muscled up top?
Marquardt?
Did
he ever fight Nate Marquardt?
Thiago Silva, I think.
Oh, okay.
Thiago Silva.
Yeah, that dude's thick as a brick.
And he took him down, and that's the point of this. I'm like, stand toe to taking chances. This is taking chances, and I'm going to tell everybody there. Taking chances is fighting someone like Johnny Hendricks and toe to toe. Taking chances is going up to the middleweight class and fighting just a mid-tier middleweight. That's taking chances. But staying and fighting welterweights and fighting a lot of welterweights that have moved down to the lightweight division since then because they were small is to me, it's just not taking chances. And that's not taking anything what GSP has accomplished because he's a true champion. But like Ronda Rousey said, if he was a true ugly champion, he would not be fucking getting the ink and he would not be being pushed to the front. And that's how I feel. What do you think?
I agree with you. Yeah. I mean, I don't think I can add anything to this or say anything different. We'll see after this weekend because I think this weekend it's going to shake the welterweight division up big time. Yeah. It has potential to, as long as Condit doesn't win. And
I mean, it would be interesting. I mean, it would be interesting coming out of this weekend with imagine if Diaz wins and Hendricks wins.
That would be a fun fight.
That would be a fun fucking fight. That's the kind of fight I'd love to see. It would be exciting. But anyway, moving on to some actually cool news I thought was kind of funny. Benson Hendersons' mother, who's 50 plus years old, she's all about a whopping 4'11" and stuff. He actually had tweeted that his mom, in her first Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu competition, I guess it was this past weekend, and she pulled off a bronze medal. That is some impressive shit, you know? And you gotta love that kind of shit. Huh?
I said that's some good genes.
Good genes, man. Anyway, anything else you want to touch on this week, man?
Myself?
Yeah, I know you like to touch yourself. Another thing is, guys, if you haven't had a chance, I interviewed the Yamasaki brothers right before the weekend. You can find that video on our page. Actually, it was an interview with Mario and Fernando Yamasaki. It's interesting because we talk about the Lloyd Irving scandal. We also talked about, their school, which is a phenomenal school. They have locations in Brazil and a bunch of locations here in the States. And it was funny because I asked them about upcoming fighters and who they thought. And the first person Mario said he said right away was Chris Weidman. He was like, he just feels that guy has a tremendous amount of potential. And they also talked about potential matchups, who could give who problems. And one of the things they said that really I found interesting was they said that
don't tell them. They got to go watch the interview.
Yeah, fuck it. I ain't going to tell you. Guys, go check out the interview and you'll see it. Now, anyway, we're getting the fuck out of here. Comical, brash, and yeah, sometimes politically incorrect. The UnCut Sports Show. Non-traditional sports coverage delivered the way you like it by your uncensored co-hosts, Kevin White and George Bedford.